In a climate-controlled hangar, a state-of-the-art fighter jet sits incomplete not for lack of skill, but for want of a missing shipment of microelectronics. Across the country, tank assembly lines slow as steel prices soar, and naval shipyards wait on titanium parts delayed by new tariffs. This is the silent conflict of 2025, a battle fought not with weapons but with policy decisions and disrupted supply chains. The enemy isn't a foreign power, it's the unintended consequence of economic warfare. Tariffs and trade barriers meant to protect are now undermining military readiness. The silence in these factories signals a growing vulnerability. America's tools of deterrence, jets, tanks, warships are being hampered before they can even be deployed. The global supply chain that once powered U.S. military might is being choked by its own government's hand. This isn't a hypothetical. It's the reality for defense contractors and Pentagon planners today. The gears of the U.S. war machine are grinding against new friction, higher costs, supply chaos, and crippling delays. Program managers face tough choices reallocating funds, pushing back deadlines, and explaining to military leaders why promised capabilities aren't ready. The problem creeps in quietly, weakening the defense industrial base. The result, a military that's more expensive, less equipped, and slower to respond. Policies meant to strengthen national security are now undermining it. The goal was to reshore jobs and protect industry. The outcome is a defense sector struggling for basic materials. The front line of this new war is right here at home. The crisis began with aggressive tariffs in early 2025, expanding duties on steel, aluminum, and electronics. The intent shield American industry. The reality, a tangled global supply chain now in chaos. The defense sector relies on imported materials and components that aren't made domestically at scale or quality. Tariffs meant as a shield have become a self-inflicted wound, driving up costs and injecting uncertainty. Contractors on fixed-price contracts now face cost overruns, forcing the Pentagon to buy less or pay more. The result, a paradox. Policies meant to strengthen America are weakening its military procurement. Every bolt, circuit board, and sheet of metal now comes with a tariff-induced price hike. Delays in jets, ships, and upgrades create windows of vulnerability adversaries can exploit. The tightrope of protectionism has become a tripwire for national security. The numbers tell the story. Since tariffs took effect, defense-grade steel prices have surged 30%, aluminum alloys by 18%. For an Abrams tank, that's $150,000 more per vehicle, before electronics are even installed. Across a production run, the costs are staggering. Even buying American doesn't avoid the tariff effect. Domestic producers raise prices to just below tariffed imports. The Pentagon estimates steel and aluminum tariffs alone will add $3 billion to procurement over 5 years. Money not spent on new tech or training. Lead times for specialty alloys have doubled, throwing production schedules into disarray. Delays in receiving armored plating halt assembly lines, creating a domino effect. The impact extends to thousands of smaller items, ammunition, engine parts, even field hospital frames. Every defense budget line involving metal is under pressure. Tariffs, meant as a targeted weapon, have become a cluster bomb, damaging the entire defense manufacturing landscape. The price of strength has gone up, not because of adversaries, but because of our own policies. Tariffs ripple through every military platform. The F-35 now costs $1.5 million more per jet due to pricier metals and electronics. The Pentagon faces billions in unexpected expenses, forced to buy fewer jets or cut other programs. Electronics tariffs disrupt the networked backbone of modern warfare, delaying radar, communications, and drone systems. Even basic munitions are hit. TNT and other components now cost 20% more, slowing stockpile replenishment. The squeeze reaches the individual soldier armor plates, rucksack frames, night vision gear, all pricier, all delayed. Multiplied across the force, these costs add up, weakening the warfighter. Every link in the supply chain is stretched, strained, and more expensive. The idea that made in America can be achieved by taxing imports ignores deep foreign dependencies. Take titanium. The U.S. relies on imports for the raw material, and tariffs just raise costs for American processors. Rare earths are even more critical. China dominates their supply, and tariffs only make U.S. defense firms less competitive. Building a domestic supply chain is a decade-long project, not a quick fix. Semiconductor chips face a similar dilemma, designed in the U.S., fabricated abroad, then tariffed on re-entry. The result, higher costs and incentives to move operations offshore, undermining the policy's intent. Tariffs also disrupt vital partnerships with allies. Components made in Germany or the UK become more expensive, straining cooperation. These arrangements enhance interoperability and share development burdens. Broad tariffs disrupt these ties, isolating the US from its partners. Instead of projecting strength, tariffs create friction and logistical pain. The global network that once empowered US defense is now a source of vulnerability. The policy meant to protect is isolating America from the very partners it needs. The bottom line is clear. Tariffs are costing the Pentagon billions, causing delays and weakening deterrence. One aerospace contractor reported a $500 million cost increase for a missile program, directly due to tariffs. Major programs like the Constellation-class frigate and B-21 bomber now face 6 9-month delays. These aren't just paperwork issues. A delayed frigate means a gap in naval presence. A delayed bomber keeps older planes in service. Smaller suppliers are hit hardest, forced to lay off skilled workers as costs soar. The skilled manufacturing base erodes, undermining rapid mobilization. Pentagon estimates suggest tariffs will add $15 billion in costs over the next decade, with timeline risks for most major weapon systems. Tariffs are functioning as a direct tax on national security, diverting dollars and stretching timelines. The critical question: are tariffs meant to protect America actually making it weaker? The evidence says yes. By raising costs and slowing delivery, tariffs undermine the pillars of U.S. military power. Strategic competitors like China and Russia don't tax their own defense industries. They watch as America slows itself down. The gap in military capability narrows, not from enemy innovation, but from U.S. economic miscalculation. The economic battlefield is proving as decisive as any physical one. The hidden cost of this trade strategy is the erosion of military power before a shot is fired. Deterrence depends on credible, ready force. Delays and cost overruns send the wrong signal. Unfinished jets and delayed warships signal a nation entangled in its own policies. The most urgent threat may not be a missile, but an economic policy that prevents the military from being built and deployed on time. America risks losing the war before it even begins.